that's hopefully like Vdeos. Or you just get a little video after that.
Oh, there's a tinnery. Turbo, I think, one of yeah. It's hybridized. Yeah, there used to be diesels, these trains. Goldy and orange colour. No. Yeah, sometimes Henry do that, but a lot of them are fake. No one comes bowling on the other side of it. It must be hitting a particular area. We've got a Tesla coming on. Exmouth. That's a London Midland one. This is a 170. No, very bad now. I used to have a 170 back in the day. And the East Anglia coloured. There's other people filming here too. There's one coming up to argue now.
Oh yeah.
We've got a 350. They're called Zyros. I do have one of these trains at home. It's going rather slowly though. It's going out rather slowly. Hold on. Oh, that one's just taken off. We used to go out to Scotland on one of these. Right there, that's the other one. That's cool. It's like extra some days where everything comes in at once. Plans to go there to film one more video up there for this year if I can afford it. because I've got so much other things to save up for. I've got my model railway stuff, I've got my saving up for my dream motorbike, and yes, that's something else I'm going to bring up in a minute. So yeah, I got so much to plan out for this year, what's left of it anyway, because we're now in July, and I have not done any unboxings at all yet, and it surprises myself because I usually would film and unbox and review a video for you with unboxing a locomotive this time of year. But obviously, as I said, financial situations are not the best at the moment. I'm still building basically building myself up a bit again, because over the next year and a half or whatnot, I've got a save up for my dream motorbike. Yes, I'm going to be riding on a motorbike as a starting point next year, and it's not going to be easy, but I think I'll look forward to it. I am aware of some car drivers will throw and saying they despise the motorcycle riders, which I don't understand why, but I mean, sure, there's some bikers, well, some motorbikes themselves are the way they've been put together, or maybe the way some of the people add these like mods onto the bikes to make them more louder. I mean, sure, that can be annoying at times, especially, it's like 9 at night, or 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Sure, because people are trying to sleep, and you don't really want to have that noise waking you up, especially at the weekend. I mean, the only days when people get a chance to fly in this weekend. So I can get that, but just to purposely throwing people out to actually hate riders when they're actually not doing anything wrong, I don't get at all. Don't get it at all. So if you do come across car drivers like that, they probably haven't got anything better to do in their life. I mean, they're bored, so they have to take their temper out on something. They could do better things to do in their time than trying to cause an argument with a motorcyclist. Especially if they're new, or when they've had loads of experience and they just don't really have desire to stand themselves up for any reason. I have to be aware of that myself in time, because I'm becoming a motorcycle rider myself in time. And yes, I know some people say, well, if you're becoming a motorcyclist, you have to bear in mind a lot of things. It's true. I know a lot of riders I have seen on roads and dual carriageways, motorways, and back roads, that people always keep their shoulder looked over constantly in case of a car driver will plunk into the back of you, and either they're not paying attention or they're purposely trying to knock you off. Because there's a lot of car drivers that are like that. Yeah, because I personally think that those sort of drivers deserve to take their test again. And they can have their brain examined for it. But yeah, move that to the side, because that's not something I'm really going to worry about right this moment. But I know it's something I have to think about when I become a motorcycle rider next year. Move to the side. Yes, I have got many other things to save up for. Plus my dream motorcycle, as I said, it's a 600RR sports bike. So the model I'm looking at getting for my dream bike is a 600RR sport bike, 2006 model, Honda make, with the exhaust underneath the seat, which is what the older designs were originally, how it used to look from Honda, but now they've gone to the different approach with them. But to be honest, I like that version of it, the older one, because it kind of gives it a bit of class in its own way. It doesn't really make much sense to why some people might prefer its sound or the way it performs and things like that. But if I'm buying my dream bike from either second hand or brand new, I would want to modify it myself over time to have it to my own spec, basically. I mean, I wouldn't have put a big wide, what do you call it, a big wide, exhaust pipe, or is it the exhaust itself, or is it, I can't remember what they're called, but it's basically joined on to that, not converter, it could be the exhaust pipe itself, but basically I want to change the actual exhaust itself over time to make it be a twin, but not that size, because that'd be ridiculous. Something, I mean, like that size would be fine if it's matching the power of the bike and it's, suitable for it. Why not just tone down the volume a little bit with it and make it a more presentable without being too loud. There's a way you can turn the noise down when you're accelerating the motorcycle. There is ways to do that, but the other thing is I want to put LEDs on the headlights and tail lights kind of thing, and maybe wrap it with nice colours around the bodywork area. And yeah, I'll basically get some ideas for that later on. But yeah, what else I was going to say? Oh yes, for the model sets I'm going to be getting this year for the Class 43s in liveries, I would say, I can explain to you what liveries I'm looking to go for this year with the Class 43s in my double O layout form. For my dream layout would be East Midlands, Coast Country, Midland Pullman, East Coast, Grand Central, Kurzweil, Virgin. I'm not totally sure I'm going to get LNR. I'm not entirely sure on that one yet. I do want to get Kurzweil, I said that. Kurzweil, Coast Country, East Coast, Grand Central, Midland Pullman. I did mention Coast Country earlier. Intercity Swallow. Trying to think what else I want to get. What was that other one? I've done East Midlands. Trying to think of what that other one was called. There's quite a few of them. Intercity Swallow. Am I going to get the executive livery Intercity version? To be honest, no, I wouldn't get the executive version of the Intercity set of the HST. I have seen it in person. I saw it last year. I just don't really find it that as fascinating as the British Rail Intercity HST, because the British Rail one does look quite nice, and I've already got the model of it, and I'll just show you it, because I did a review and unboxing of it last year. The trouble is where it is, it's holding one of the carriages up. It's not so great if you want to take a look at something. There we go. I did that fairly carefully, which is nice. There we go. She is in her full colours of British Rail Intercity British Rail Intercity 125. This version in real life, she had a top speed of 148 miles per hour in 1975 with a diesel hybrid engine on board. Built by John Wesley, and this one had a max speed, as I said before, 148 miles per hour. Some of the prototypes, like the APT, was part of this system, was 162 miles per hour, but the APT had a lot of design flaws and faults and issues they occurred with during the running time that they run it. It wasn't for very long, was it? I think it was like 10 years before they decided it wasn't of a value time to keep it moving. I'm going to say that, it kind of the inspiration, my love for the HST, I'll put this into the context. Why did I fall in love with the HSTs? I'll bring that in a second. So yeah, the APT was just used after 10-year period of, was it 1962 or something, and then later used to service for another 5 years, and then it basically stopped, and then they had lots of faults, and they didn't really go looking back over it, and they just kind of left it. And it's still at Crewe sidings. It's still at Crewe. If you want to go and see it, it's near Crewe Station. It's actually on the heritage side of it, on near the main line. You can still see that train. Still half of the six-car rake train there. The other half of it is over the other side of Norwich, apparently. So if you want to see the MRN, the National Coal Board, was that the National? In York, or south of Crewe, you can see the other version, which is called the APTE, which is gas-powered turbine engine that they had on that one. And it was basically, the whole thing was basically you had the drivers, you had loads of white people doing the computer systems. So at its time, the APTE was actually powered for, it's like almost they used it similar to what we get now as the Kurzweil 43 and the Kurzweil Tampa. And yeah, the APTE was basically a measurement train back in its time, but it really was measuring, or the track being leveled, being designed how it's, if the canvas is not quite leveled, they come along with the particular train and they basically lift the rail off and they move the sleeper, push it back down, they put the rail back in, and they kind of do the whole process system with it. But that's the thing that we see with Kurzweil 43 and the Tampa, especially the Tampa, because Tampa has got this big crane on top and they can move, or the ballast on one side, and they can move the track off the old sleepers, and they put the new sleepers onto the railway. And I would imagine that'd take hours, but I'd imagine that'd be quite interesting to see as my point of perspective or someone else's point of perspective in real life. So yeah, I'd imagine that'd be quite interesting to see. Right, my love for the 43s, yes. My love for the 43s started when I was a young lad, and I remembered when I was growing up in the 90s, because I was born in the 90s, and I'd imagine to anyone born between the 70s, 80s and the 90s, and parts of the early 2000s, they will remember these sets. And obviously the British Rail in the city was outstandable. I mean, I remember seeing these, not for very long, mind you. I remember seeing these when I was quite young. I must have been 5 or 6 years old when I saw this one still hovering around London area. Not it was staying around for very long at that point in my life. It was between 1996 or 1997, and these were still going around. Not for much longer though. I think they got took out of service in 2003, 2005. I can't remember when, but they were still hovering around for quite a fair bit of time because they were very running for, I would say, nearly 40 years, close to 30 years, I would imagine. Before, when I was still growing up, these have been in service for 30 years, maybe close to 40. I'm not 100% sure, but to be honest with you, my love for the HSCs will never change. Even when, when things will change on the British Railway network, and the fact that we're supposed to have British trains on the British Rail network, and everything's coming more international, which is surprising me, because I mean it is good shocking. But never mind. If they kept this British train and they just upgraded the engine, upgraded the tune they had on it, and they can make it possibly third rail, or they can have a coach that had itinerary, they had the wires going down to the power car, and used the electric motor in the centre of the body, or the centre of the train, and they had basically flywheels to pick up the diesel engine to be at the front, and then you had the bigger hybrid engine at the back being full electric, and that electric engine would basically pass it on to us to drive it whatever speed it goes at the time. If it's idling at 70 mile an hour or 154 miles an hour, then that electric engine can take on when it's basically staying at a steady speed, either from slow to fast or slow to fast speeds. And even it could be a rechargeable one, so that way the diesel engine could be kicking in when the electric motors get low, and they basically recharge the electric motors back up, and then we use the electric motors again during level ground or going up or downhill, depending on what they're doing. I think that would be perfect to what they could do with these sets. They could definitely do something like that. It's just a matter of they willing to do it. I mean, yeah, they're 50 years old, but you know, to be honest with you, I'm not that keen on the 802s. I mean, yeah, they're fairly modern, sure, but they don't have any characters. They don't really outstand on these sets at all. I mean, look something that was from the 1970s compared to something from 2021, I think, when the 802s came out, and they're Japanese. I mean, come on. I mean, you should have more British stuff on the railways in general, without even living our lives to be other companies to mass produce from places like China or Germany or whatnot. I think personally, to me, they could make British electric high-speed trains in the UK without needing to line other companies to lean on to use their trains on our British rail networks. I mean, sure, some of the freights, it's fairly normal because obviously with the trains that we have now, whoops, don't know, knock her over. It's a shame really to see everything's just kind of gone more international when it's supposed to be the opposite. In the past few years, it should have been the other way around. But yeah, mentioned that was a flop. But there we go. Something else I was going to say. Yes, my love for the HSTs are strong because of my experience on them. I travelled on a lot as growing up as a young lad, and I didn't travel on this specific one when I was young because I didn't really know where it was going to. I know now where it went to originally. I'd done some research on this particular one because obviously it used to come out of London's King's Cross or London Pancras Station, and it went up to a place like Edinburgh. Excuse me. It was going up to Edinburgh or Leeds and Manchester. That region, it was going up from London Pancras up to Edinburgh or Leeds or loads of other places up in Scotland, and it did half the journey time it cut down the journey time for what would have been 8 hours, and this one did about 4.5 hours shorter than what it originally done with the older sets, with the westerns and some of the older ones. So this one came along and cut the journey time half that time. And apparently a lot of people said it's comfortable, reliable. It had a diesel hybrid engine, which no one knew about, but it does have a diesel hybrid engine on board because in real life you can hear that electric motor kicking in. Every time it stops, you can hear that idling, and that diesel engine basically uses it to pushes the unit up on the hills. I mean, it doesn't burn diesel to move the wheels directly, but it burns diesel, and then you push what's left of the fuel in there, upcycle it, and it pushes it it burns diesel to create the electricity, and the electricity goes to the wheels to drive the unit. That's what it's like in real life. That's how the system works, I would imagine. But I mean, they could change it to make it a little bit more efficient. Change out the old-fashioned electric motors they have on board to make them a bit more modern, a bit more reliable, and you can actually just have a little bit more tweaking them, make them a bit more, I don't know, sort of more up to date, but make them keep the body design, keep the original design on the outside, but the inside is what needs changing. But yeah, I mean, you could probably on the back here, you could probably put like a special wire. It goes down towards another carriage down the end of one of the carriages from the power car. You can have a itinerary or a third rail system put into place to run either on third rail or itinerary system if you go other parts of the county. So yeah, there's plenty you can do with your Class 43 sets. My love for the 43s have never changed since I was young. If anything, it's just grown more. And yes, this layout will be dedicated to these sets, not just this livered one, but all of them. So you're going to see probably over between basically Christmas Eve, you're going to see a bundle of them from East Coast, Virgin, possibly Midland Pullman set, East Midlands, East Coast, Grand Central, Virgin, In-City Swallow, and First Great Western set. There's going to be quite a few. And yeah, even Coast Rail. I'm trying to think, there's any other one I haven't mentioned. East Midlands, yep, that's going to be in this one. There's going to be quite a few. So, yeah, I also want to say thank you to all you guys who have supported through my other channels. I haven't really mentioned about my other platforms recently, but yeah, I basically changed one of my platform names to her over there. She's sitting on the chair. The title of my other channel now, or one particular channel, is actually called Me and My Companion Doll channel. If you're interested in the companion dolls, please go and check it out. You probably like that sort of thing. It's on that platform. You just can see her literally just sort of beside me on the bed, talking about certain topics which don't tend to cover on a train channel, generally speaking. But on other channels, I have what used to be a chat channel, is now a companion doll channel. I have a video gameplay channel. I don't use it all that much. I also have my Pride channel, if you want to check it out and if you're interested, that sort of thing. The only thing I unboxed on that channel is the Pride flag, if you want to have a look at it, if you're interested. I know most of you guys are interested in the train stuff, which is fair enough. But yeah, I want to also quickly fly out this weird thing which is kind of been floating in my mind for a bit. So obviously, as I said this before multiple times, but I want to bring up this particular topic for my dream out, and how is it going to look like building this, my dream out? For how's it going to look? What's your plan to look? What's your plan? What is my plan to basically replicate of either from the mainline or the Heritage Railways? This is a special my dream now. It's going to be, as I said, dedicated to these sets. It really is. It's going to be dedicated to this set, or all of them really, except for the really weird one, which is called, what do they call it? Gosh, it's gone out of my mind. But it's not the best looking livery version of the set. It's kind of weird. Is it was it Rail Adventure? I think it could have been Rail Adventure. Yeah, the Rail Adventure one. My gosh. I don't know what they've done to that train, but it does not look the best. There's nothing wrong with the engine or the way it looks. If you didn't have the buffers on that set, and if they put it in a nice livery, it'd be fine. It's good to livery they put it in, and it's just like tasteless. But yeah, it's mostly the colour and the buffers that really wind me up. Don't ask me why. But the buffers, personally to me, the buffers do not suit these iconic British diesel hybrid sets. They're not really designed for it. And I know one company, I think that, yeah, they're still operational today. is Grand Central. I remember seeing Grand Central always put their buffers on their 43 sets. Don't ask me why. I know for a fact they did it for some reason or another, but I just don't know why they do it. It must be designed for maybe the high speed, but it also lowers the emissions of the engine output or something. Maybe it helps some gravity to, when you go around a tighter radius, it slows it down. And I don't know how the whole system works at high speeds on these sets because I only been in the cab of a 43 very recently, but I don't know what they're like to drive because at this moment I am not one of those people yet. So it might happen. I'm not going to drive these sets in real life. It's unlikely. Much as I would love the idea of driving one of these real sets, I have to be honest. I would love the idea of driving one of these sets, but that means I would have to do the local runs with Plymouth Penzance for them, and I don't really want to do that, so that's not where I'm going with that sort of career when the time comes, right? So yeah, there's plenty to discuss, and I know for a fact some people would love the Vdeos sets. I personally, one of my favourite liveries of the HSTs. I like most of them, to be honest with you. It's the only one I don't like is the Bad Adventure one. It's just kind of dull. The livery's not great, and the buffers really ruin it. So if they'd gone along and changed it and put some nicer colours on it, then that would be much nicer. Just seeing this grey and white dishwater colour scheme is kind of weird. I mean, it's worse than East Coast livery. The East Coast one is not that bad, but it's still not the best. And I generally would get the East Coast mainly because I did travel on that. That was my first ever 43 I travelled on, actually. That was that one. And I did travel on that one with my family, with my sister and my mum, coming back from Scotland many years ago. I did travel out there on holiday. Going up to Scotland was a holiday thing we did years ago, and we came back on the East Coast 43. It was originally ex-GNR. I know, because they started to change the carriages over to what used to said GNR livery on the side, but it started to change them to the grey and white livery. And yeah, it is alright, but I mean, GNR is still what consider the original dark midnight blue with the red stripe down the side with the sort of golden text of GNR on the side. And this is the older version, I think, of the in-city British Rail version, because obviously you don't get designed headlights like that anymore, where they had the glass panel across the bulbs. But I'd imagine this would have been quite a van adventure type. It would have been quite a comfortable ride, I'd imagine, back in those days when they had these going around. But yeah, I do like all the liveries except from the Road Adventure one. I don't mind the rest of them. So yeah, she's going to be running shortly. I will run them. I'm not going to run all the trains tonight. I was hoping to get some of the steamers out, but just for some people go along commenting on my videos and saying you don't really do much steam train models very much. I do own at least 3 or 4 of them out on my windowsill at the moment. They are operational and they can move. It's because I personally am going to be dedicating my dream route to the Class 43s. There's only one exception, as I said before, it will be the Class 66, and maybe 2 others to have some freight going around for this route. And that might be a 58 and the Class 56. And there might be a couple others as well, maybe 25, a new version of a 25. And yeah, I'll probably do something like that. So mainly, my whole layout's going to be around these sets. And once I got hillsides, I got valleys, I got brooks, I got 7-4 signals up, and I've got proper like modern ballast stuff to go across the underneath the sleepers, and I'll push it against the platform edges, and that way sort of gives them character to the railway. And once it's up on a board, on a stand, it'll be much more easier because I can spread it out a bit more. It's going to take a while, but as I said, it will be awesome once we get it organised. So, and also people will probably ask me like, how many hours is this Christmas Eve video going to take? Okay, I'll bring this up. I don't really want to bring it up for a particular reason because some people might get bored of me bringing this up, and they might get a bit dull with Christmas Eve video just because how long it's going to be. But I've got to bring it up now anyway because it's July, and before we know it, it'll be at that point to when I ends my YouTube career off basically with that big video. But yeah, I know people say, is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be 2 hours? Is it going to be longer or shorter? Well, for some of the people going to ask me that question, it's going to be about a 3-hour video. I would roughly guess that it's going to be about a 3-hour video. And that's going to be from early enough in the morning to start the video off. And the first half is going to be, I think, running trains to start with. And then we'll go into the second half to do an unboxing videos of all the different 43s that I've got over this year. That's my plan. And then go into the next stage, just having a chat with you guys and giving my great respect and saying big thanks to all you guys when it comes around. I'm doing a whole big video and then basically end of the video off with a bit of sort of, I don't know, relaxing kind of countryside music thing going with it. It might have been copyrightable because I don't want to be copyrighted. So I'm going to do a special type of editing music I can put together from one of my favourite music and then just edit it to make it be more bassy without the song singing. So I might do something like that. So yeah, that's my plan for Christmas Eve video. So yeah, expect it to be a long video, that particular video. It will chew up all my battery to doing this for Christmas Eve one. I'm going to make it on the day or maybe just the day before, and it can go up on Christmas Eve. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to do that, but yeah, that's going to be a long video. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great way to end my YouTube career off, I think, doing something like that, because let's face it, don't get me wrong, this platform I've been doing content on, I have enjoyed it just for the fun of it, and I have explored my different ways of doing videos, from doing raw videos to editing videos. I've done loads of different types over the years, and I quite like editing, but I also like because having a raw video is quite nice from time to time to just talk and just run the trains and just let you guys experience out the music and start and begin end of the video. I know some people like that and other people don't, so I've got to try to mix them up sometimes, not bore everyone to death. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to run my passionate trains around my dream route, and I'll jump in time to go and change the battery because I think we're going to have to go through the battery to do the second part. And what I do afterwards is, for some people go, you just have the love for trains because, let's put this into context. Some people criticise me for being, are you too old for trains? It's utterly bogus for those people watching saying you're too old for trains. Let's face it, I knew people in the past, sort of in the 50s, even 90s, who were into trains. You're never too old for trains. Come on. There's no such thing, you're too old for things. There's some people in the world who actually still swim, jump on trampolines when they're 80 years old. So, no, you're never too old for things. If someone says you're too old for them, they haven't really got a life to play with. They're basically bored. But yeah, I'll put this out there. Another thing I would also mention is that if you know you're into your trains since you're a young lad or young lass, young lady, from your very young age to you run into your adulthood, I'm very supportive. I know what I'm going to be like when I'm older. I'm not going to be much different from what I am now to what I will be in the future. I might have to have a limited myself probably by the time I'm at that point in my life because A costs, and let's face it, two of these sets last year cost me about £700 for basically the Bridgewell Intercity power car and training car, and on top of that I got the castle set, kind of castle with Newport Castle. So yeah, the hobby is not cheap. However, it's quite fun. I mean, it's very fun a lot of the time. You just have to bear in mind that the cost is very exclusive. It's ridiculous how expensive this hobby is now. I mean, when I bought myself these buildings for my railway, I started to quite depressingly think these colours could have. Originally, the front end, this is the original colours that you get when you build in the kit. But however, I've done a bit of modifications to the building. I've done some colour, which personally to me looks much nicer. I'll grant you it's not my best shot of it, but I mean, from a distance it doesn't look too bad, but close up it does look kind of messy. I think it's quite quirky in its own way, but yeah. If I ever sort of building like this in the pine colours, so um small because if seeing a building that just has these colours on it, it's just a rare sight. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've done a pretty good job in some areas, but it still needs a lot of work to be done on this building. This is actually just a model version of like an Anglican type of church thing. It's that's all it is. It's not anything fancy, but it's going to go on a model railway. It's not going to stuck on to the side near a toy box or on a shelf for the next 50 years. It's going to go somewhat this corner of the layout. It's not going to get used much, I don't think, once it's put into place. To be honest, it would be used for like 10 funerals or weddings or stuff like that to go on the model railway. That'll be it. And as for this is one of my first buildings I got. Is the train shed. I was like, what's the colour about? Well, the colours I've gone for pink and blue. Don't ask me why. I just kind of fancied going for pink and blue at the time, which I don't think is too bad. And we've had the red paints reflecting out the glass, and we got red and blue on the inside for the roof, which is not too bad, but again, kind of messy. So, yeah, I could have done better on it, but hey, you gotta start somewhere, haven't you? So, and the train shed's now for double O for basically a two-line track shed like this, where you have to build it all up. It costs about I think it's about £15-20, depending on where you get them from. You can get them. And just make sure you've got someone with you who knows what they're doing to actually put these sort of things together, because I had no clue when I first started building. I started putting these buildings together from the kits they had available. My mum helped me actually with this one. She helped me with the other one actually as well. Just more so on this one because it was more fiddly. It's going to be fixed down to the board properly once I'm at that point in my life. Well, once I'm at that stage of the railway. And this is the off building for the shed, which is just a dark blue with a green door. yeah, I don't know what else to do with that, but what I'm going to do now, I will just get some trains running. I'll leave you guys with it with some trains passing the platforms, and I'll just catch you guys again soon. I think actually it's going to be done on Thursday, I think now. Yeah, it's going to be on Thursday for the mainline video. Maybe it's a heritage video, a heritage railway video. We'll see. We'll see. Right, I'll change the battery and then we'll get the next camera video taken. Let's move this. I'm going to have to move the stuff out the way. Right, okay. So, we have got the empty spray can. I don't know why it's still over there then. So, I'm just going to grab a couple of, well, it's carriages, basically, and get it all connected up and get the train moving. And I'm going to get the castle set out, as well as the junior, and maybe a, trying to think, maybe the 87, maybe, now we could run the 57, couldn't we? It's not one I run very much, but I think 57 might be an option for tonight, because, I mean, not everyone seems to see the 57s. Have I ever seen a little 57 in real life? No, I've never seen one in person before. But I like to, well, if the chance to run on rail tour days, then maybe. But otherwise, I'm not going to see them otherwise. I know they do run one for the sleeper train. They run it later in the evening because they tend to do the run from Penzance to middle of the country, but they tend to be late at night, so you don't tend to see them that much. So what's my plan for after this video? Well, I've got to make my bed in. I've got to make my bed before I can go to sleep in it. And after that is done, I'm going to be basically, after all this is done, I'm going to be editing this video to put it up for you tonight if I can. And then I'll basically make the next video on Thursday to see some Class 43s in person. If you want to see the Class 43s, then you're best to go to see them from Penzance runs, because they tend to run down that way, and you should get some good shots of them going through like that. I own 3 Class 43s, you're curious of. I don't own any more of those at the moment. I will do, hopefully, later this year. I hope we get the, as I said, I already mentioned them earlier on. So, if you want to keep your eyes peeled for those sets when they come out, should be at some point this year. I think what we do then is, since we've got all the ones we need to bring out, we'll bring the 87, or do we bring out the 57? No, we'll bring out the 57. It's not one it runs as often. Yeah, let's bring her out. It's a very rare opportunity this one ever runs very often at all. She's one of the few who's ever run as often as some of the others. So, I'm bring her out. Have you ever seen a class system putting a castle set before? No, I haven't. As I said, I've never seen a Class 57 ever. I mean, some people say the 47s look very similar or identical to the Class 47s. Probably true, they do look somewhat similar, but they do have enough differences, I think, when you compare them. Right, okay, let's get the carriages onto the track and then we'll get the train moving. And after all this is done, I'm going to be getting my bedding sorted out so I can actually go to bed tonight. Actually on my bed or not, sitting on the sofa. Right, on. I've got a buffet, that's the one with the lights, so that's going to go at the back of the train. Because this one drags a bit, so she's going to go back at the train. So, put her on. This video this evening is going to be till about just before 9, so I wouldn't expect to be any longer than that. I need to go make my bed soon. I'm getting on it, running out of state, so get her moving. Here she comes. Now she stops on a curve. And I know why. To do with the connection between the controller and the track, because I probably should put it on the power track then. And there she goes. I think I'm going to get some good shots of her during the winter, when she runs around and then when you start seeing some characters of the railway, I will jump past the valley properly with a full-length train of 8 cars. However, do I look after my sets? Well, in Monday, so I think I only look over the way. I know from in the class I'm not going to go with them, but that's in the class. Now I got back to it when it happened, so I don't know like to last what more now than I used to. But yeah, it's an amazing test. There is no they are on the pricey side most of the time. But yeah, it's a very nice sets. I can't recommend anything for them. Just about now they're extremely pricey, so they don't come cheap at all. They're quite expensive. So if you really want one, I recommend that you set up for one. I'm going to do a jump cut, guys, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. I do apologize, but I did say I needed to change the battery, and I really did, because there's no one. Right, what I'll do now then, move it over a little bit. You guys can see I'm just going to move pendulum out the way. It doesn't make it in shot at the moment. I'm going to get a roof shot. I'm not trying to get a roof shot and this will work. Quite high up in the railways. You can see it from that angle without being too close to the messages on the field. We'll just zoom in a bit. Right, we'll get a couple more shots round with her, and then we'll go on to the castle with 57 as well from doing her train. So that will be the only odd one out today for this set. So yeah, we'll let her pass to the station this time, and then we'll go through the steps from there. Right, so while she's running around, I'll get past 187, which we all know is kind of classic, and everyone knows about it in real life. And I'll grab her train, which lives inside the main, and we'll get charges, and then we'll get the train car. I just grab them without actually pushing down onto the motor because it strains the motor if I end up pushing it down while taking it off the track, which I don't want to do. I don't want to strain the motor on these sets because they are expensive units. They're not cheap at all. They are quite pricey, actually. If you want something, well, if you want these particular sets, the premium Class 43s from Hornby, I would recommend saving up for them, your money for it, because they are worth it, in my opinion. They are worth the money for them. However, I don't think they're worth, the price that they do ask for them, like 300 to 400 quid. I think they're worth at the maximum of 225 maybe, depending on the quality and the reliability on the units themselves. If the quality is not as good, then the quality is not worth it, full stop. But personally for me, because it's my most passionate train of all time, I would willing to pay out more for my passionate train, because I know for a fact long term they're going to be running a mile out for the rest of my life. And my doing that because they're going to be dedicated to one set. Okay, here's GWR Castle set, Cardiff Castle at the front, and then 43005, I think it is in the back. Didn't work that out instead, but yeah. This is Cardiff Castle with, I can't remember this one. Is it the Zoe one we've got running around on the visual Conley and the Classy Devon, but it's mainly Cornwall, and he's on around on. I was lucky enough to ride on one, believe it or not. So, during the holidays, to be honest with you, if I went on holiday in next year to the same area, there's a chance that I would probably see one of these sets coming to go on again. If I'm honest with you, it probably won't change massively over next year. I think it is. Apparently, one thing I do want to mention is that apparently they are talking about making these stuff made in Britain again. I don't know if it will actually ever come true, but we'll have to wait and see if it happens or not. I know there's like they have been talking about it, but talking about it and actually doing it, two different things. Because it's no matter if they get the funding for it and the interest on it. Right, we'll get some corner shots for this one as well. So just there, I don't know, and then the curve over there. I've been to the train, don't know entirely. Excuse me. Keep getting yawned and keep getting tired. It is. I suppose it's only 9 o'clock in the evening, so I'm going to wrap this up fairly quickly. So we'll get a couple more laps with this one, and then we'll get the 57 out, get 2 or 3 shots of that one, and then we'll end it off with Junior 43. So yeah, we'll just end it off with that one, I guess. So we'll get 1 or 2 more laps of this one before I take her off. So power car as well. Anyway, we'll just power car at the front, car the castle. Alright, I'm going to play ball with her train, does she? Why does she not want to play ball with her actual train? It's making no sense to me. I mean, it's the whole point is she both connect to her actual train. Can't just wander off about it. It's a train after all. I need 2 more powders for this set. So, yeah. Need to get a couple more powders for this one. Okay, when she next come around, I will change it to the class 57 GWR. One of my first ever, the first GWR train I actually had, believe it or not. She was the first one. In GWR colours. It's crazy to think she was actually the first one I had. The GWR 57. Why is the you might notice that the light is flickering, but you might notice why the bulb is flickering, but it's because the bulb in my light is very old. I haven't changed it. Right. Come on, 57, grab your potential train for just for a short time. Come on. Here she comes. I'm going to have the 43 train car in the back. It just helps her basically cover her front. I always sort that out because yeah, it's not actually ideal for people to have other things to be in the way. The Class 33 train car is just there to help her, basically, to help her guide her wheels around the track. But the trouble is, there's a bump in that corner of the railway, so that means that she always derails every time she hits that curve. She doesn't seem to do it on that curve, but this one, on this far corner, she seems to just, I don't know, she keeps derailing every time. That time she didn't seem to derail, but the back one still stuck on it. Right, so, what we're going to do now, we've got some couple of shots of the 57 going around putting the castle set carriages, which looks more immaculate than, I would say, like a class 46, which is mad, but there we go. Ooh. I don't know what's going on down there, but something went going on. I think the cable's come undone down there again. So, we'll end it off with the Junior, I think, next, and we'll call it a day, I think. I've got to make my bed. So yeah, I've got to sort that out yet. So it's fun. Rightio, let's get it sorted out and just end it off with the Junior 43. I think it's got to be this one, isn't it? I don't know if you managed to get on that this time. Yeah, that does happen sometimes. So, we'll end off with Junior then. For the end of the evening after this one. It's 5 to 9. Not 5 minutes, 5 to 9. No, Tuesday. So just get this one going and call it a day, I think. Right. This one's actually supposed to be in a buffet car, the Junior. Is this first class? Coach C. No, C3. That one. And the one with the slight broken wheel is, I think, first class. Yeah, it is first class. Coach F. It's funny. Because I'm trying to think. It's the classes that have Coach F. Because if it does, then they still carry first class. Even though they're only doing Penzance Diploma ones most of the time. Right. There we go. And then we'll get that connected like that. And then we'll clip that on. And then we should connect that. And then we should connect this one here. And just get a power car on and we'll set it to go. Excuse me. I think the food I had this evening keeps setting me off. Don't know why. This back. Kind of the problem. Checked out. I think there's a bit of an issue on that wheel. Maybe it's to do with the actual train. I don't know. It's very strange though. There we go. We'll just get some good shots of her passing the camera. I don't know what was going on. As I said, my love for the 43s will never change, no matter how old I will be in the future. They're always in my passion train. I choose to get the premium models because they are more likely to last long term than the budget ones. I know some people say the budget ones can be pretty good for saving money, kind of, but not really. You know, they won't save you much money really, especially since the model railway industry nowadays is so pricey. Everything comes with a high price tag. no matter how much you wanna. No matter how much you want something in life, even if it's a hobby, like what I have, or maybe something slightly different, that hobbies don't come cheap anymore, and they haven't done for years, but they just got more and more expensive. Why do you think I go second hand with things for my models, especially for my passionate trains? I tend to go second hand because it's cheaper. I mean, they're still premium models, but they're being used by other people, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, depending on who looks after them. Sometimes they can be brilliant condition, like other times they're meant to derail, and sometimes they fall off track. And again, this time it's just completely stored the train itself. Okay guys, I think what I might do then, given the time, it's nearly 9 o'clock, I'm gonna end it off here guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till next time guys, hope you guys have a great day and enjoy your hobby, even if it is pricey. If you really enjoy it and you can afford it, because it's a wonderful hobby, just pricey. But be careful. I'm not anyway, yeah. Have a great evening guys, and I'll see you guys all on Thursday. Until then, have a great evening and peace out. No, very bad now. I used to have a 170 back in the day, and the East Anglia coloured. There's other people filming here too. There's one coming up to you now.
Oh yeah.
We've got 350.
Yep.
They're called Vdeos. I still have one of these trains at home.
Oh, he's dispatched as well.
It's going rather slowly though. It's going out rather slowly. What one? Oh, that's one's just taken off.
No, it's interesting as well.
We used to go out to Scotland on one of these. Right there, that's the other one. That's typical.
Too much.
It's like Exodus and Davis where everything comes in at once. You can see the red lights are not as strong as some of the other lights. I don't think I'm able to see it properly though. Hey, we've got cross country voyager coming in. Yeah, I recognise those ones. I think I recognise very well. 221138 on that one.
You might want to catch this one to see.
Similar one we won earlier.
Will you do it when you stay behind the recorders?
I could easily get a good half an hour. The very orange one.
Yep.
They're the new modern 350s, I think.
196s, 196.
Yeah, he's going inside the Pendolino. No, I can see him yet. A Voyager.